Chris Worrell lives in Bromley by Bow, East London.
I was elated, really. You know, it takes your breath away when you sort of first come up here. Stuff you dream of, really, when you're sort of thinking if you're going to get a flat, you're going to have a nice view, don't you?
In 2016, he bought a 30% share of his 3-bedroom flat. The full value was £475,000. On top of his mortgage, this year, Chris is paying over £10,000 in rent to his housing association, Clarion.
Yeah, so this is what we saw when we come in.
It's a beautiful flat.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Chris works in property himself and is involved in the Labour Party.
You know, my mum's always said you've got to get your foot on the housing ladder. You know, it seemed at the time really, you know, exciting and an achievable thing to do.
Like Deepa, Chris is now in arrears. When he moved in 4 years ago, his service charge was almost £2,300 a year.
This year, the demand is around 4,400, so double, almost.
And this is something that you had no idea you'd be facing when you came in?
No, not increases at this rate. It's obscene.
Clarion told Chris that in recent years they had underestimated the service charge. He now has to pay thousands of pounds in back payments, as well as this year's increased charge.
What? They're making him pay back payments, you know, they're taking the piss, blood.
He's refusing to pay while he goes through a complaints process.
It's really
damn right. They can't give you a set price. You pay it for X amount of years or whatever, and then they say, oh, we undercharged you, you owe us this amount. Nah, mate, that's your own fault. That's your own fault. It's like you eating fucking Nando's and that. They charge you £20 for the meal, and then a couple of days later, oh, you're sorry, we undercharged you. It's actually £30, you know? Fuck off, man.
difficult to know where you are at any point because their communication is just so poor. They're not really interested. They keep want to knock it into the next phase, dragging it out, promising information, and they just wait for people to tire, you know.
Clarion told Panorama that Chris's service charge includes increased concierge costs and is in line with similar buildings. They say all residents were given a year to pay the balance. A month after we last met, I'm back to visit Chris in East London. He's had some news about the service charges he's challenging. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, but had been better. Had a bit of an update from Clarion. They're sending threats of, you know, for them considering to serve a notice of seeking possession.
Why do you think they're threatening to take legal action and possess your home whilst you're in the middle of a complaints process with them?
It's the only thing I can think of is that...
Because they don't want you to go ahead with the complaint.
It's just bullying and intimidation. They're trying to scare people into paying the service charge. You know, we've had some of my neighbours who have received similar letters and they've paid it out of fear.
Clarion said repossessing someone's home is a last resort and they will always discuss a tailored repayment plan. So it's been 3 weeks since I saw Chris and Clarion have been in touch. They've told him that they're not upholding his complaint and that it's now closed. They have offered him £50 in compensation though for the time taken, which they say they will offset against the £3,000.
Woo! £50, baby. Jesus Christ. Hey, we're going to Vegas, baby, with that £50. That £50 is going to change his motherfucking life. God damn.
He still owes them. He's still waiting to see whether they will carry out their repossession threat. It's rare for shared owners to be repossessed, but it can happen. And if it does, you can lose everything, including your deposit and any equity.
If you have the flat on a shared ownership tenancy, it's actually a lot easier to lose the flat than it is if you bought it outright with a mortgage, say. They could potentially lose everything. If a possession order is made, that ends their entitlement to the flat. It ends their entitlement to the money they paid for it. They would get nothing back, potentially.